Hey YouTube, I know it's been a while since last making a video. Maybe just kind of stepping back from social media a bit and doing all kinds of other things, but something that's just kind of give an update over the course of my year. It was last time I posted something was probably back in May, but basically I had a couple hives swarm. Let me see if I can. So I originally had an 8-frame hive there. That was my original hive, and I caught that swarm from the bee club yard. And what's happened is right at the end of May, right as the honey flow ended, both hives decided they wanted to have fun and swarm. And so I ended up losing a couple swarms because they went way up in this tree, like way over here. There's a tree, like a sugar maple, and they just went way up there, and there's no way I could get them. I'm kind of wondering if there's a field over here with like an old barn in it. I'm kind of wondering if one of them might have ended up there, but. So I have 5 hives now. Started the year off with 1, have 5, have these 2 here, and then these 3 over here. But this one is probably my biggest hive. And I did mite checks last week with the alcohol wash, and that's the one that had the most mites in it. And then, all the rest of them had probably about somewhere around 5, except for that small one. That small one back in September actually superseded. They superseded their queen. She actually, the new queen's already been in there and laying, and is actually doing pretty good. I was kind of surprised at how late in the year she was able to get mated. But one of the local beekeepers in the area, he said he's seen them begin laying as late as November in this area. So that's a crazy fact. When you think all hope is lost, sometimes it's not. But bees over here are being pretty active from this hive. I've noticed that sometimes throughout the day, different hives will have different levels of activity going. But yeah, there's some bees still coming and going with the goldenrod pollen. I think they're still finding pollen here and there. This hive actually had to reorganize a bunch of the brood in there. A lot of the brood was all on the left side of the hive. Everything was basically on the left side of the hive, and I was going to try to see if I could break it down in one box. Ended up what happened is I ended up reorganizing all the brood to the bottom of the box. There's about 3 or 4 frames of honey or sugar syrup up at the top of the box. So we'll see how that works out. Think I might feed both of these. They have the internal feeders in them. I think I might feed them both some more sugar syrup, and then this other one here, this big one here. That thing is so crammed packed with honey. It's unbelievable. And same goes for this other little one. That one, you lift it up, it's got to be over, about 60 to 70 pounds. So it's pretty heavy, but. So I'd say so far making a step forward. I'm treating the mites with Apivar. When I found out how high the mite levels were in all these, I went ahead and put Apivar strips and did a oxalic acid vapor in all of them, just to kick down those mites that are out in the open and on the bees. But my goal right now is just get them through the winter, and then we'll see what happens next year. And I would like to try to get a bunch of nukes and be able to sell a bunch of nukes to people. But, yeah. But anyways, on the subject of mites, though, there's a good article in the American Bee Journal. This month's issue of American Bee Journal. I think the title is something about treating mites when there's honey on the hives. Really, the person that wrote the article, he gives a good breakdown of, talks about when the mites are the highest in the hive, and when things are when is the best time to treat for mites. And it seems to me, based on his observations and his research and everything, is that right after the honey flow is over with and you've pulled those supers off the hives, basically what's happening in there is you have the mites already are, you have the mites reproducing, doing their thing. And this is like, you have May, the end of May happens for like this year, end of May happens, and then I pulled the supers off after the honey flow. And then in June, that was actually when I should have been treating for mites, was in June. I would have gone out and done my alcohol wash in June, but that would not have given me an accurate reading of how many mites are really in the hive, because there are a lot more bees. The mites are more spread around. Now this time of year, what's happening is, these hives, they've been on this downtrend of brood and bees throughout the rest of the summer and going into the fall here. And so as they have less and less bees, the mites start condensing to where the brood is. And of course, there being less brood, all the mites are condensing to that area. And so that's when you have this basically this high level of mites, and then you have the complete collapse of the hive. And that just really made sense to me, once I realized that, what's happening is all the mites end up getting condensed, and it just overwhelms the bees at this time of year. So it's helping me to rethink mites, and just try to next year I'm going to try to treat earlier, treat as soon as I take the honey supers off, and see how much of a difference that makes it for the bees. But anyways, one other thing I'm looking into is there's a queen cage called I think it's called a Scalvini queen cage, or Sicilian queen cage. Basically, it's a little cage you put into like a frame in the hive, and basically it confines the queen to just like a square set of cells, and the bees can access the queen. The queen just can't get out. So basically what you can do is you can eliminate a lot of the brood in the hive by kind of forcing the queen to reduce her egg laying. So basically, once all those bees hatch out, then you can use the oxalic acid vapor and just completely wipe out the majority of the mites. And creating that brood break just really helps with all that. So it's a more natural method that they've been using over in Italy. I haven't seen these things here in the United States at all. These Sicilian, or however you call them, queen cages. But I'll put a link in down in the description of a website that sells these over in Italy. But I reached out to Better Bee though the other day to see if they would start selling these things on their sites, because I'd like to at least give it a try. But anyways, that's my update. So you all have a good one. Hopefully your bees are doing well. Bye.